Welcome to Ank's English, a sanctuary where stories unfold, reflections spark, and we find our way back to who we truly are. Have you ever felt like you're running a race you didn't sign up for? Like the world is moving at lightning speed, and you're still catching your breath, wondering if you'll ever keep up? Today, we're going to slow down, take a deep breath, and unravel that quiet ache of comparison that tugs at our hearts. This episode is about rediscovering your own rhythm, embracing the beauty of your unique journey, and letting go of the need to measure yourself against anyone else. Stick with me until the end, because I promise you'll walk away feeling a little lighter, a little more grounded, and maybe even a little more in love with the life you're living. And if this resonates, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment with your city and the current time. I'd love to know where in the world you're joining me from. Let's begin with a moment of stillness. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale slowly, hold it softly, then let it slip away. Feel that? You're here right now, and that's enough. Now picture this. You're scrolling through your phone, and suddenly you see it. A friend's post about their new promotion, beaming with pride. A stranger's photo from a sun-soaked vacation, their life looking like a dream. A colleague's update about their latest achievement, polished and perfect. And before you can stop it, a small voice whispers, "Why am I not there yet?" It sneaks in so quietly, so effortlessly, that you barely notice it at first. One moment, you're content, maybe even celebrating your own small victories. The next, you're staring at someone else's life, feeling like you're falling behind in a race you never meant to run. Comparison is a shadow. It creeps in and dims the glow of your own story. It tells you that you're not enough because your life doesn't look like theirs. But here's a truth to hold close. Their path isn't yours, and it was never meant to be. What if your journey feels slower because it's weaving something deeper, something stronger? What if your dreams are quietly taking root, growing in ways you can't yet see? I've been there, gazing at someone else's life, wondering if I took a wrong turn somewhere. I felt the sting of believing my story wasn't unfolding fast enough, wasn't bright enough. But comparison doesn't see you. It doesn't honor your heart, your courage, or the quiet steps you take every day. It only shows you someone else's highlight and asks why you're not living it. So let's pause. Take another breath. This is Ank's English, a space created for moments like this, when you need to return to your own voice, your own rhythm. It's a place to practice listening, not just to English, but to the gentle wisdom inside you. If this feels like a soft embrace for your soul, I'd love for you to hit that like button and subscribe. And here's something special. Leave a comment with your city and the time right now. I want to know where in the world you're listening from. This is our quiet global community, and I'm so grateful you're here. Let's dive deeper. Comparison often slips in when life feels still, when the noise of the world fades and your thoughts have space to wander. Maybe you're sitting alone, scrolling, and suddenly you're asking yourself, am I doing enough? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Those questions can feel like a weight pressing down on your chest. But here's something I've come to understand. When you compare, you stop seeing your own life clearly. You trade the vibrant details of your own journey for a fleeting glimpse of someone else's. Their life might seem shinier, faster, more complete, but what you don't see is the heaviness they carry. The late nights filled with doubt, the moments they felt just as lost as you might feel now. No photo, no post, no carefully crafted story tells the whole truth. Behind every radiant smile, there's a chapter left unspoken. Behind every milestone, there are struggles left unshared. That person who seems to have it all together, they've had moments where they questioned everything. They faced fears, stumbled through mistakes, and wrestled with their own uncertainties. Comparison blinds you to that. It makes you forget that every life, even the ones that look flawless, is beautifully human, full of messy, unspoken moments. You are not lagging, you are not failing. You are simply living a life that can't be measured by anyone else's yardstick. It's okay if your dreams are still unfolding, petal by petal. It's okay if your path feels slower than you hoped. It's okay if you're still discovering what you want. Your pace is your strength because it belongs to you alone. So the next time you feel that pull to compare, try this. Pause. Breathe. Turn your gaze inward. Notice the challenges you faced, the quiet resilience you've shown, the moments you kept moving forward when no one was watching. Those are yours. No one can tell your story better than you, so why try to live someone else's? Let's keep going gently. Have you ever looked at someone's life and thought, they've got it all sorted out? Maybe it's a friend whose career is soaring, a family member whose life looks like a dream, or an influencer whose every post sparkles with success. And in that moment, a quiet thought creeps in. Why can't I be more like them? But here's a truth most people don't share. You're only seeing the surface. You're seeing the moments they've chosen to show, the ones they've polished to shine. What you don't see is the cost of that glow. Behind that confident grin might be a heart heavy with doubt. Behind that big achievement might be months of worry, sacrifice, or silent struggles. Behind that perfect snapshot might be 100 moments they never shared. People rarely show their stumbles. They don't post the nights they lay awake, wondering if they're enough. They don't share the mornings they woke up unsure, the times they felt like giving up. And that's not deception. It's just how we navigate the world. We share what feels safe, what feels beautiful. But when you compare your unfiltered, beautifully raw life to someone else's curated moment, you're fighting a battle you were never meant to fight. Your life is real. Your growth is earned. Your struggles are sacred because they've shaped you. And those quiet moments, when you're working hard, healing slowly, showing up even when it's hard, are just as powerful as any milestone, even if they don't make it to a post. I remember a moment that changed how I see this. I was having coffee with a friend who seemed to have it all: a thriving career, a stunning apartment, a life full of travel and adventure. I told her how much I admired her, how she seemed so far ahead. She looked at me, her smile fading, and her voice softened. She said she felt lost, like she was posting those moments to convince herself she was okay. That conversation stayed with me, not because her life wasn't beautiful, but because it showed me how little we know about someone else's heart. The lives we envy are only half the story. So if you've been comparing yourself lately, be gentle with yourself. You don't know what lies beneath their surface, just as they don't know the weight of your own journey. You haven't lived their quiet fears, their sleepless nights, their hidden losses, and they haven't lived yours. That's where freedom begins. You don't have to measure up to anyone. You don't have to rush to catch up. You're allowed to grow at your own pace, to live a life that feels true to you. And maybe, just maybe, your life is already more beautiful than you realize. Not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. Let's keep moving softly. There's something powerful in this truth. Your path doesn't need to mirror anyone else's. Not your closest friends, not your siblings, not the influencer you follow, not even the version of yourself you imagined years ago. It sounds simple, but when you're navigating life's twists and turns, it's easy to forget. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind because someone else crossed a finish line first, or because your choices don't look like theirs. But life isn't a race with one destination. Success isn't a single checkpoint. Your journey is yours, with its own curves, its own pauses, its own quiet magic. I think back to my mid-20s when it seemed like everyone was leaping forward. Friends were getting promotions, buying homes, starting families, while I was still figuring out what I wanted. I felt like I was failing, like I'd missed some universal guide to getting life right. But looking back, I wasn't lost. I was just on my own road. I was learning, growing, making choices that felt true to me, even if they didn't match anyone else's timeline. The more I tried to chase someone else's path, the more disconnected I felt from my own. Have you ever felt that pull? That urge to do things because it's what you're supposed to do at this stage? Maybe you took a job because it looked impressive, or said yes to something because it felt like the right move, even if it didn't spark joy. But what if your life doesn't need to follow someone else's blueprint? What if the answer isn't rushing to catch up, but slowing down to hear your own heart? When you stop trying to match the world, you start noticing the quiet beauty in your own life, the way you show up every day, the strength in your small routines, the courage in your choices, even the messy ones. There's a peace that comes when you say, I don't need to be like them. Instead, you can ask, what do I want this season of my life to feel like? That's when your path starts to feel real. Not perfect, but true. And when it feels true, comparison loses its power. You're no longer racing against someone else. You're walking beside yourself, and that's the most honest direction you can go. Let's pause for a moment. Think about your life, the small, sacred things that make it yours. Maybe it's the warmth of your morning tea, the sound of your favorite song filling the room, the quiet pride of finishing something you almost gave up on. These moments don't show up in a comparison chart, but they're yours. They're the threads that weave your story, the ones no one else can claim. No one else sees the world through your eyes. No one else carries your exact hopes, fears, or dreams. That makes your life irreplaceable. Let me share something I've never told anyone on this podcast before. A while back, I hit a rough patch. I'd been pouring everything into a project I cared about deeply, but it fell apart. I felt like I'd failed, like I wasn't enough. I spent days replaying every mistake, wondering why I couldn't make it work. Then one afternoon, I went for a walk. Nothing special. Just a quiet path near my home, lined with wildflowers growing in their own chaotic, beautiful way. Some were tall and vibrant, others small and still budding, and something in me softened. Those flowers weren't competing. They were just growing, each in their own time. And in that moment, I heard a quiet voice inside. You don't have to prove anything. Just be here. Just keep growing. That's the kind of moment comparison can't steal. It's the kind of beauty that belongs only to you. So today I want to remind you, you don't need to rush. You don't need to match anyone else's pace. You're allowed to live gently, to feel deeply, to grow quietly. Your life doesn't need applause to matter. The small moments, the ones only you notice, are just as sacred as the big ones. Let's talk about quiet confidence now. It's not the loud, flashy kind you see in movies. It's the soft strength of showing up every day, even when it's hard. It's the courage to keep going when no one's cheering. It's the peace of knowing you're enough, even if you're still a work in progress. Comparison pulls you away from that. It makes you chase someone else's light instead of standing in your own. But when you let go of comparison, you start to feel free. You start to see your own worth. You start to live your own story. I've learned this through my own stumbles. There was a time when I looked at everyone else's successes and felt small, like my life wasn't enough. But over time, I realized something. My path is mine. And that's what makes it beautiful. It's not about being better or faster than someone else. It's about being true to yourself. And that truth, that quiet confidence, is what makes you steady. It's what makes you whole. So let's do this together. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your life, not the one you think you should have, but the one you're living. See the moments you've overcome, the dreams you're building, the love you carry inside. That's your story. That's your power. Now open your eyes and know this. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And that's more than enough. As we near the end, let's hold on to this. Your life is not a race. It's a journey, one only you can walk. And every step, no matter how small, is shaping you into someone only you can become. So when comparison creeps in, when you feel like you're not enough, come back to this moment. Breathe. Feel your own heartbeat. You're here, and that's everything. Thank you for sharing this space with me. If this episode of Ank's English touched your heart, if it helped you breathe a little easier or see your own light a little clearer, please share it with someone who might need it too. And in the comments, tell me something you're learning to love about your own journey. Let's hold space for each other gently. Until next time, be kind to your pace, cherish your quiet growth, and remember, you're not behind, you're becoming.